Hello everyone. So this is Engineering Mathematics for EE, which is this our module 1, topic 1 which is forms of complex numbers. By the end of the topic, the students should be able to first identify and convert between the different forms of complex numbers such as rectangular, polar, and exponential forms. This is for this video, part of this video. And then the next topics will be discussed in the next videos, okay? Perform basic mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division involving complex numbers. Third, calculate the roots and powers of complex numbers utilizing relevant theorems such as De Moivre's theorem. Evaluate exponential and logarithmic functions containing complex variables. Solve mathematical problems involving both trigonometric and inverse trigonometric functions of complex numbers, and compute and manipulate hyperbolic and inverse hyperbolic functions of complex numbers. There are various forms of or methods of representing vector quantities, all of which enable those operations which are carried out graphically in a phasor diagram to be performed analytically. The various methods are, first, symbolic notation. According to this method, a vector quantity is expressed algebraically in terms of its rectangular components. Hence, this form of representation is also known as rectangular form or Cartesian form of notation or representation. Okay, so it's when you say rectangular form, it is also the symbolic notation. Next is the polar form, then the trigonometric form, and the exponential form. Okay, we'll discuss these four in the next slides. Okay, first, the symbolic notation or the rectangular form. A vector can be specified in terms of its x component and y component. For example, the vector OE1 may be completely described. This one is the OE1. O to E1. Okay? May be completely described by stating that its horizontal component is A1. This one. Okay? And its vertical component is B1. Okay? Now, the dimension where we try to, what do you call this one? Graph the complex number is what we call the Argand diagram. In Argand diagram, the horizontal component is the real part, no? This is the real axis, and this one is the uh this one is the imaginary axis. Okay? Okay. Now, um let's continue. For example, the vector OE1 may be completely described by stating that its horizontal component is A sub 1 and vertical component is B sub 1. But instead of stating this verbally, we may express symbolically by what? A1 plus JB sub 1. You may notice there that A sub 1 here is the real component and B sub 1 here is the imaginary component. Okay? And maybe you're thinking, no, sir, why is it that it's imaginary and you use J? Ito yon, no? Where symbol J, known as an operator, indicates that component B sub 1 is perpendicular to component A sub 1. So if this is your A sub 1, your B sub 1 is here, and it should be what? It should be what? Perpendicular, no? And that two terms are not to be treated like terms. Not to be treated like terms meaning to say they are separated, no? In any algebraic expression. The vector written in this way is said to be written in complex form. In mathematics, A sub 1 is known in real component and as real component as yung A1 and B sub 1 as the imaginary component. But in electrical engineering, more on, you'll start to understand the the next statement in electrical circuits too. Okay? But in electrical engineering, these are known as phase or active and quadrature or the reactive components. Okay? That's it. Now what's in it about the J? Okay? Um remember this, no? If we try to to name other vectors, we can name it in this way. Let's say for E sub 2, we have negative A sub 2 because this one it has a negative value of x, and then B sub 2 is here, no? Another thing is that um if we want to get the full length of this, let's say this one, vector E sub 1, okay? It's what? Using uh, trigonometric, sorry, Pythagorean theorem, we have here what? A sub 1 squared plus B sub 1 squared. And then for phi, the angle is arctangent of B sub 1 over A sub 1. Okay? That's it. Now, the letter J used in the above expression is a symbol of an operation. Just like what? Multiply, divide, square root, or integral. Okay? These are used with numbers for certain uh, indicating certain operations to be performed on those numbers. Similarly, the symbol J is used to indicate the counterclockwise rotation of what? Vector through 90 degrees. Let's say we have what? In mathematics, we denote I as square root of negative 1. Okay? Now, um, since we are using I as current in electrical circuits, to avoid confusion, we use J instead. Okay? But it's the same thing as using I imaginary number in mathematics. So if we have J as square root of negative 1, J squared is equal to negative 1. Okay. When operator J is operated on vector E, we get the new vector JE. So which means you have your vector E here. Let's say you have your vector E here. If you multiply E by J, it will rotate going there. Okay? So, meaning you have your JE is E angle 90. Okay? So definitely, if you multiply another J to it, no, it becomes what? J squared E or what? Negative E. Because it will give you the same magnitude of E on the positive side to the negative side. And then after that, um, we have there what? Uh, if you multiply again another another this one in 90 degrees, no, you multiply J here, it will give you what? It will give you J times J squared E. Okay, that's the J cube. That's the J cube E. And definitely your J squared, since J squared is negative 1, you'll get there what? Negative J E. Okay, so by the way, this should be what? JE cube as negative JE. Okay, and then J squared, and then the J to the fourth E, since this is what? 2J squareds, no? And since J squared is negative 1, you'll get there E as the answer. Okay? So, that's the J operator. Next. Two complex numbers are said to be conjugate if they differ only in the algebraic sign of their quadrature components. Example, if I have a complex number which is z as 3 plus j4, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? This is now your vector z. Now, its conjugate, which is symbolized as this one, or z asterisk. This is 3 minus j4. So it will go on what? Another side. Okay? This one is your z conjugate. Okay? Next. The polar form. The expression E cosine theta plus J sine theta is written in the simplified form of E angle theta. Okay. How is that being observed in the complex number? Okay. Let's say you have your complex number here, a vector, no? Let's say this is A and this is B. Okay. Now, for polar form, we need to get this part, the R and the theta. Okay, instead. Now, to get that, we have R as equal to A squared plus B squared, and the theta as the arctangent of B over A. Okay? Now, to give you an insight with this example, if we have Z as 3 plus J4, okay? We will get your R as square root of the sum of the squares, the square root of the sum of the squares of the components. So 3 squared plus 4 squared. And of course, this is 5. Okay? Then, the theta is arctangent of 4 over 3. Okay? And that is how we'll get your 53.13. So in totality, we'll get this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. And then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is what? Your vector. This is now 5. And this is theta. Okay? Sorry, it's 53.13. Yan. That's the polar form. Okay? Now, the trigonometric expression is the extension of the polar form. Okay? Instead of writing it in this way, it is written in this way. Cosine theta plus J sine theta. Because in the past, I'll tell you later on that polar to rectangular can be easily evaluated using calculator. However, in the past, they were using the trigonometric form because it's more convenient to express it in this way. They can easily separate the rectangular to the rectangular components on one another. Okay? So, and the exponential. This equation is known as the Euler's equation after the famous mathematician of the 18th century, Leonard Euler. Now, the real deal for this one is this.